What? But he was fine this morning! One day, during work, I got a call from the hospital. My dad, he passed away. I knew this day would come, but he looked fine this morning. My boss knew about my dad's condition, so I left work early that day and headed towards the hospital. I was the first one there. My mom and my brothers were nowhere to be seen. They might not even show up. Mom was so cold to Dad. I never understood why they got married in the first place. And Mom hated me too. She loved my brothers, but she treated me like garbage.
I got some fresh melons. Let's eat. Yay! What about mine? Huh? What do you mean? Go away!
She was always like this to me, ever since I was a kid. This one time, we all drew her portrait for Mother's Day, but she threw mine out. I was pretty upset. She's been like this ever since I can remember. Did I do something to her? But Dad was nice. He was nice to all of us. But he never got along with my mom. I've never seen them fight, but the thing is, they barely talked to begin with. Mom refused to take care of me, so my dad basically raised me single-handedly. And as they got older, my brothers started to turn on us too. I don't want to be like Dad when I grow up. Same here. And Bob, why are you so ugly? I bet you don't even have a girlfriend. My brothers were much better looking than me. I guess they got Mom's genes. She was pretty good looking too. But I looked exactly like my dad, so maybe that's why she played favorites. My brothers still lived with my mom, but they both had girlfriends. They were living it up. I left home as soon as I got a job. Dad worked his butt off to provide for us. He even put us all through college. But then, he was diagnosed with cancer. It was tough, but Mom and my brothers never came to visit him. This one time I needed Mom's signature on some paperwork, so she came, but on her way back, she told me to pay for the cab. Why did they get married in the first place? It makes no sense. I had a lot of questions, but no answers. The hospital he was staying at was located between my apartment and my office, so I always went to see him before and after work. Son, you don't have to come here every day. You gotta take care of yourself. Dad, it's fine. It's the least I can do. He was losing weight fast. I was really worried about him. A few hours later, my mom and my brothers showed up. The first words out of her mouth was,
Ah, he died, huh? Good. I was just about to run out of money.
What the hell is wrong with her? Where are the insurance papers at? Is the house gonna be yours, Mom?
Of course. Once we get the insurance money, let's build a new house. We'll make it big enough so you guys can live there when you get married.
You mean we'll get to live there for free?
Of course. Insurance money to the rescue.
Wow. All they cared about was money. What about his funeral and stuff?
Oh, right. The funeral. Invite lots of people. We gotta collect the funeral offerings. Set it up.
They made me do everything! Just let me know when you set a date, said my brother. Then, when I asked him if they wanted to see him one last time...
No way. I don't want to see a dead body. Let's go.
What? Is he serious? Then they left. I had to do everything myself. But the people at the hospital were really supportive. They helped me clean out my dad's room.
Your father. He went very peacefully.
Good to hear. Thank you for everything. I later found out that my dad had already made the funeral arrangements. It was all paid for and everything. All we had to do was set a date. He always planned ahead. Oh, Dad. During the funeral, my mom played the mourning wife. Same with my brothers. They were pretty good actors. Dad was an only child, and his parents were gone too. So most of the guests were friends and acquaintances. Why are they doing this? My brother's girlfriends were there too. They were crying too, but they never even met my dad. I wanted a nice, quiet funeral for him, but they were crying out loud the entire time. After the funeral was over, I felt empty. Then, I got a call from someone named Saito. He said he was my dad's friend. Hello? My dad died, actually. I know. I'm sorry for your loss. I'm calling about his will. He was a lawyer. Dad hired him and left a will. I already talked to your mother. Can we all meet at her house this Sunday? Sure. Okay then. See you then. Sunday, I went back to my mom's house. My brothers were there with their girlfriends.
Why are you here? You're not getting anything.
Huh? The lawyer called. That's why I'm here. Then the doorbell rang. There were two lawyers standing outside the door. Hello, I'm Saito. This is my assistant, Emoto. Nice to meet you.
Let's just get this over with. Come on. Where's the money? And where's the deed to the house? We couldn't find anything.
Mom told them to hurry it up. Okay then, let's get right to it. I will now read his will. He opened the envelope. We all waited in silence. Let's see here. The $150,000 in my bank account should be split evenly among the remaining family members. That's it.
What? What about the insurance money? And the house?
The house is actually not in his name anymore. Looks like he took care of all that before his passing.
What? So it's mine now, right? Right?
Actually, no. The house now belongs to Bob, your youngest son. And the insurance money? It's all going to Bob.
What? Why? You tricked him? How dare you?
This makes no sense! You can't do this! Hand over the money! My brothers and their girlfriends all started flipping out, but Mom was awfully quiet.
Wait, he knew?
Emoto, can you take over from here?
What's going on here?
This is him, right? Emoto showed her a picture of a man. He looked like my brothers. He actually hired me years ago to look into this. He knew about your affair. So yeah, my dad knew something was up, so he hired a lawyer to look into her. He even did a DNA test. My brothers weren't actually my brothers. I was his only biological son.
Wait, what? You serious, Mom?
But we're still his sons on paper, right? We should still be getting something. Well, he left you all $150,000, but everything else belongs to Bob now. I had no idea, but now it all made sense. My brother's girlfriends dumped them after that. I guess they were just dating them for the money. Pathetic. As for the $150,000, I gave up my share. I just didn't want to deal with them anymore. But then my mom went on a spending spree and now they were all fighting over it. Oh, and they refused to leave the house, but it was legally mine now. So next time they leave on vacation or something, I'll just clear out their stuff, change the locks, and sell it. They'll probably end up on the streets, but not my problem. After what they did to my dad, they can rot in hell for all I care. Thanks to my dad, I now had more than enough money to start over in a new city. Time to move on with my life.
Once a month, my husband and I went to his parents' house to eat dinner. But my mother-in-law, she was always harassing me. Here you go, Maki. Thank you. She handed me a bowl of rice. It was all burnt and black. Your mom did it again. Did you notice?
What? I'm sure she didn't do it on purpose.
A month later. Here you go, Maki. Thanks. It was the main dish, but mine had no meat in it. She did it again.
You're being paranoid.
Dinner's ready. She made fried shrimp for dinner. She said she forgot to take off the shells on 4 of them. And all 4 of them ended up on my plate. I made some pork cutlets. The part she gave me was all fat. I bought some sashimi today. Mine still had bones in it. I made some eggs too, but I dropped some shells in the pan by accident, so just be careful. My plate was filled with eggshells. I wasn't even mad anymore. Listen, I don't want to say it, but I think your mom is doing this on purpose.
Not this again. She'd never do that.
A month later, we went back to their house again for dinner. The table was ready set when we got there. I've made some minced meat cutlets, but I ran out of meat halfway through, so I used fish cake for some of them. I don't know which one is which, though. She seemed so excited. It was kind of funny.
Maki?
It's mine for sure. If it's not, I'll buy you a new car. If it's Takashi's, I'll let you use our parking space. Okay then, let's eat. I took a bite. It was fish cake. No surprises there. Ah, I see, I knew it! It actually tastes pretty good. Thanks. It was a coincidence. I told you that. Oh, is that so? I guess I'm just really lucky. Hey, maybe I should go buy some lottery tickets. Burnt rice, no meat, sashimi full of bones, pork cutlets made with pork fat, fried shrimp with shells, fried eggs with eggshells. I can keep going if you want. I must be one lucky girl. I couldn't stop laughing. She started shaking. My husband and his dad just stared at her. You think I didn't notice? We only come here once a month, so I didn't want to make a scene, but... I've had enough. I mean, seriously, how old are you? Grow up. Then she started crying. What? I was supposed to feel sorry for her now? Oh, give me a break. You kept it subtle, though. Was it because you didn't want your son to find out? Huh, you make me sick. Whatever. You might have been a good mother to your son, but I'm done. Can't do this anymore. Then I slammed the table. I'm not gonna take it anymore. Who knows what you'll try next? And if you hate me so much, you'll probably hate my child even more. He seemed a bit confused. The thing is, I was pregnant. I was 5 months in. We wanted to surprise him, but she ruined everything. I don't want you anywhere near my child. Then I stood up and grabbed my stuff. I'm done. I'm never coming back here. Goodbye forever. As I walked out, I saw my husband and his father yelling at her. Huh. Oh, that felt good. As I walked to my car, Takashi came running out.
Why didn't you tell me anything?
Is he serious? I could feel the rage building up inside me. I pushed him away and got in my car.
Hey, you listening to me?
I told you many times, but you never listened to me. He started mumbling. I didn't care what he had to say, though. Get out! I'll run you over if I have to. I was serious. He jumped back and fell on his behind. I drove off and went back to my parents' house. I was gonna go back there to give birth anyway, so most of my stuff was already there. And they knew about my mother-in-law, so they said I could move in anytime. The next day, my husband came to see me. He got down on the floor and begged me for my forgiveness. I think he learned his lesson. I decided to forgive him. But I was never going back to his parents' house, and I didn't want them anywhere near my child. I got it all in writing. Checkmate, bitch. She probably thinks I'll forgive her, but think again. You're not coming anywhere near my child.
I'm Shinjiro. Today, my older brother Sojiro was getting married. But when I woke up in the morning, it was raining out. The weatherman said it was going to be sunny today. Maybe something bad's gonna happen. No, stop thinking like that. They weren't having their wedding outside or anything, so it's gonna be fine. Can't wait. The wedding ceremony was beautiful. Now, time to eat. They said they spent a lot of money on the food. Can't wait. It was still raining outside, but everyone was having a lot of fun. But then, right when the groom's friends started giving a speech, the door behind the room opened. Everyone turned around. It was this blonde woman. She was soaking wet. Who's she? What's she doing here? The woman walked up to the bride and groom. Then she slapped them both. They just stood there, speechless. Then she took the mic from the groom's friend.
I'm Sojiro's girlfriend. I'm pregnant with his child.
What? The staff rushed over to stop her.
Stop! Don't touch me, I'm pregnant!
Everyone just stood there in silence. She kept screaming and jumping all over the place. Then, a few minutes later, she finally ran out of juice. She was escorted out quietly. Everyone started talking. Then my brother's boss went up to the stage and grabbed the mic. Sojiro, what's going on here? What that lady just said. Is it true? The bride looked upset. Sojiro stood up and replied, I've never seen her before, I swear! I love Noriko, nobody else! All the guests seemed relieved. Yeah, can't be. He'd never do that. He was an honest guy, and everyone knew that. And he loved his wife. He was crazy about her. Yeah, he'd never do that! I don't know about his little brother, but Sojiro would never cheat on his wife! What does that mean? I'd never do anything like that. Just kidding, man. Sorry. Come on, forget about her. Let's keep the party going! The groom's friend grabbed the mic and continued on with his speech. The wedding hall staff called the police on the crazy lady, but then she called an ambulance saying she needed medical attention or something. She was probably some crazy person that had a crush on my brother. That's what everyone thought. By the time the wedding was over, everyone had forgotten about her, and things went back to normal. But then, for the first few months, nothing happened. My brother was enjoying life as a newlywed. But then one day, that crazy lady showed up again, this time with her baby. She filed a lawsuit against Sojiro. She even brought a lawyer with her. My brother and his wife weren't home at the time. It was just my parents.
I want a DNA test. Then I can prove to you that I'm right.
She said to them. Fine. If this will clear his name, then let's do it. My parents said to her. They were right. If he was innocent, there was nothing to worry about.
Sojiro, let's just clear your name once and for all.
Yeah, once we do this DNA test, she'll leave you alone. My parents told him to do the DNA test, but for some reason he was having second thoughts.
Sojiro, are you hiding something from me?
Noriko asked him. You don't believe me either. What did he mean by that? This isn't necessary. I didn't do anything. Something was up. My parents asked him what was going on. About an hour later, he finally cracked and spilled everything. That crazy lady. He knew her after all. She worked at this cosplay bar he used to go to. I had no idea he was so into cosplay. I couldn't tell anyone about it, but there, I could be myself, you know? Soon they got close and started seeing each other more often. He was seeing her for years.
Oh no.
It's okay, Mom. She's a prostitute. There's no way the baby is mine.
What did you call me? You're the one that refused to wear rubber. Is this true, Sojiro?
Crap. My brother lost it. He started taking out his anger on his wife. Get off my back, okay? You should be grateful that I married you. You're not even that hot. If anything, you should be thanking me, you ugly bitch. Noriko started crying. Then my mom snapped. She beat the crap out of him. Dad, you understand, don't you? What's wrong with having a few mistresses? I'm sure you've had your share of girlfriends. He tried to get my dad on his side. To which he said, You make me sick. Get out of my sight. They were done with him. Noriko went back to her parents' house after that. She got a lawyer and filed for divorce. I had no idea my brother was like that. The divorce was finalized a few weeks later. Needless to say, she sued him for damages. The blonde lady sued him for damages too, and child support. He had to sell most of his assets to pay her. But it still wasn't enough. My parents paid the rest on his behalf, saying that this was partially their fault for raising an idiot. So he lost all his money. But that wasn't all. I'm disappointed in you. And you lied to everyone. The company president is gonna hear about this! His boss was really upset with him. He ended up losing his job. Dad decided to retire early. He wanted to move out of the neighborhood after everything that happened. They sold their house and bought an RV. We're gonna travel around the country!
We've always wanted to do this.
A few weeks later, they left town. Dude, help! After my parents left, my brother called. He got kicked out of the house, so he was staying at a nearby motel. Mom only paid the hotel for 2 weeks! I just got kicked out! What happened to the house? They sold it? He called his parents, but they said they were done with him. They basically disowned him. I think they blocked my number. Let me stay at your house, please! I'll be right there! Then he hung up on me. A few minutes later, he called me again. Hey, what the hell? I went to your apartment, but some random guy showed up. Where are you? What do you mean? I'm home. What? No way! Are you okay, man? You must be tired. You're probably seeing things. Maybe you saw a ghost. What? No way! I've heard rumors about it. That's why this place is so cheap. Just the other day, someone on my floor died and he hung up on me before I could finish my sentence. I could hear him running down the hallway. Haha! Can't believe that worked. Yeah, I don't think he'll be back. And I'm gonna move out of here soon, so I was actually home the entire time. But I had a friend over. To my brother, he was a complete stranger. I knew he'd come to me for help at some point, so I got my friend to help me. I kind of felt bad about lying to him, but oh well. He was lying to everyone too, right? Don't worry about it, man. I guess you're right. Thanks, man. So my brother lost everything. His family, his wife, his job, everything. Oh well, he did this to himself, so I hope I never see him again.
Dad, happy birthday. Here, I got this for you.
Huh? What do you mean you got it? It's my money.
Hey, why do you have to be like that? She worked really hard for it.
What? Let me guess. She did some chores around the house? Give me a break. That's not real work.
I'm Sayuri. I've been married to my husband Kenji for more than 10 years now. We had a beautiful daughter named Mayumi, but for some reason, he didn't like her. He's been like this to her since she was little. I had no idea why. Why are you so mean to her all the time? She's your daughter.
So what? I'm supposed to just love her unconditionally?
Forget it! I'm out of here! I hate you, Dad!
See? Go on. Get out of here.
He was such a jerk. Why did he have to be like this? She was a teenager. She had enough on her plate as is. And she was such a sweet girl. So why is he like this? I wasn't sure, but I had a theory. When she was born, one of her friends said that her daughter looked nothing like my husband. He seemed upset when he heard that. I still remember the look on his face like it was yesterday. But he said he was kidding, and people say that all the time. Maybe he was upset about something else. Who knows? Is it because she's a girl? Maybe he doesn't know how to talk to her. Both our parents lived far away, and Kenji never helped me with housework. So I had to do everything by myself. And he was always yelling at me. Raising a child on my own wasn't easy, but I just did what I had to do. She was in middle school now, and after I got my old job back, she started helping me around the house. She was such a sweet girl. I had no idea why Kenji was like this. Then one day, after our daughter went to bed, my husband said something I couldn't believe.
I want her heart.
What? I had no idea what he was talking about. What are you saying?
My dad's sister's daughter. So my cousin, she's in high school right now.
Okay.
She needs a heart transplant, but there's not enough time.
Oh, okay. But what's that got to do with Mayumi?
What do you mean? Mayumi can save this girl.
What? But I'll kill her.
So?
What's wrong with you? Stop joking around. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I've been pretty tolerant of him all these years, but I've had it up to here with him. What's your problem? You're unbelievable, you know that.
Me? So this is my fault now? Look, she's not even my real daughter.
Huh? What did he just say? He kept going.
What? You think I didn't know? I know you were cheating on me. She's not my daughter.
What? What are you talking about?
Give it a rest. She looks nothing like me.
So I was right. That's why he was such a jerk to her all these years. You think I was having an affair?
It was pretty obvious. I bet it's still going on right now. That's why you were always so nice to me, to cover your tracks.
What? I was nice to you because you're my husband, and we're family.
Liar! Maiko told me. All women cheat. She said so.
Huh? Quietly, I pulled out my phone and hit the record button. Who's Maiko?
My aunt. She's a beautiful woman. She's nothing like you. She always gives me advice.
I see, but what's that got to do with anything?
All women cheat. Even her. Her husband is raising my real daughter, you know? And he doesn't even know it.
What? He's cheating on me? With his aunt? And what does he mean by his real daughter? I was starting to feel dizzy. No. No way. Then he pulled out some divorce papers. His signatures were already there.
Look, I don't need you around anymore. Get out of my house. Leave Mayumi with me.
I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I felt like throwing up. Is he being serious right now? I was scared. I feared for my daughter's safety. So I stayed calm and grabbed the divorce papers.
I provided for you two all these years, so it's the least you can do. I'm gonna take Mayumi's heart, and that's final. I'm gonna sue you for damages, though. I'll see you in court.
Then, he went back into the bedroom. I gotta run away with Mayumi. The next day, on his way out to work, he told me to have the papers signed by today. Right after he left, I ran back into the living room. Mayumi, I need you to take the day off today.
Oh, okay. Why?
I'll explain later, but your father and I are getting a divorce. Is that okay?
Oh, sure. No worries. We'll be much better off without him.
So we packed up our things and headed to my parents' house. I submitted the divorce papers on the way there. When we got there, they seemed surprised. I played the recording on my phone and explained to them what happened. Dad was furious. Mom said we had nothing to worry about. It was getting dark out. I got multiple calls from my husband, but I ignored them all. He sent me 1,000,000 texts asking where we were. He was freaking out. He just wants to use Mayumi to save his own daughter. The next day, I got a call from his mother.
What's going on? He told me everything. You were cheating on him this whole time? Where are you? Come back with Mayumi right now!
Actually, no. Look, this is what happened. I told her the truth. I could hear her crying. I sent her the recording and hung up the phone a few minutes later.
Mom, look! I made a cake with Grandma.
That looks delicious. My daughter was safe. I was so relieved. After that, I hired a good lawyer and started preparing my case against Kenji. I talked to my boss, and she said I could work from home for a while. Thank you.
Of course. He actually came to the office the other day. You should lay low for a while.
I couldn't believe it. He came to my office? Wow. A few months later, things started to settle down. My daughter switched schools, and we got our own place near my parents' house. Then, Kenji's mother called. Turns out Kenji was seeing his aunt since he was in high school. Apparently, she came on to him. Their affair went on for years. He just married me to make his affair less obvious to the others. And as for his cousin, the one who was waiting for a heart transplant, she found a donor. Thank goodness. I was relieved. But things weren't looking good for Kenji and his family. He even lost his job. Oh well, not my problem anymore. After what he tried to do to my daughter, he can rot in hell for all I care. Ugh, so salty! You trying to kill me? Make it again!
Seriously? I met my husband through work. We got married 2 years ago. It was just the two of us at first. But now I was cooking for my mother-in-law almost every day. So, how did this happen? It all started a few months ago. On her way back from the store, she fell and broke her arm. It was nothing serious, but she needed someone to help her around the house.
I'm so sorry about this. But thank you. Really.
She was crying the entire time. Her husband was always away on a business, and he couldn't do anything around the house. So my husband and I decided to help her. Her arm is fine now, though. Ugh! Her arm healed in a few weeks. The doctor said she was fine, but she kept calling me over to the house. She thinks I'm her maid or something. I worked part-time, so I had already had a lot on my plate. And now this? I was working non-stop. My husband helped me whenever he could, but he worked full-time, so... We wanted kids, but we didn't even have enough time to think about it thanks to her. But then...
You two have been married 2 years now, right? When are you gonna have kids, huh?
Unbelievable. And she always complained about how I did things around the house. But her house was a mess to begin with. It was pretty annoying. And her husband was almost never home, so she didn't cook at all. She always ordered takeout. My husband told me it's been like that ever since he was a kid. If she's eating takeout all the time, she probably likes her food salty. But doctors told her to watch out for high blood pressure and diabetes, so I had to think about that too. But when she tried my food for the first time, she said it was too bland. So I got my husband to try it too.
It's a bit bland, I guess.
So I kept trying, but no matter what I did, she kept complaining. She always poured soy sauce on everything. So I started adding more salt, but she started complaining about that too. I couldn't take it anymore. I can't cook for your mother anymore. Can you make her something? I said to my husband. He agreed to help, so I taught him a few recipes. Then a few days later, he went to her house to cook for her.
I messed up a bit, but she said it tasted pretty good.
Seriously? I wasn't expecting that.
She said she's just trying to teach you a few things. Just bear with her.
I didn't have to cook for her as often after that, but I still had to go there whenever my husband was busy. I hated going to her house. All she did was complain. And she was always asking me about grandkids. I was starting to lose it. Then I came up with an idea. Hey, about your mother, I got an idea.
Huh?
My husband looked confused at first, but he agreed to my idea. Here you go. I made this at home. I didn't want to make a mess in your kitchen, so here, try it.
What is this? Looks terrible. Ah, gross.
Then she started pouring mayonnaise on it. It was actually my husband who made that. When it was my turn to go there, I got my husband to cook for me, and vice versa. That evening, I showed my husband the lunchbox he made for his mother. It was drenched in mayonnaise. She refused to eat it. Then, when it was his turn to go there...
She said it tasted really good.
Weird. I made it really sour on purpose.
Yeah, I know.
I put a lot of vinegar in there on purpose, but she didn't seem to mind. It's pretty clear what was going on here. She was just being a jerk to me.
I'm sorry. I had no idea.
That's okay. Look, her arm is fine now. Maybe we should stop cooking for her altogether. So my husband called his dad and set up a meeting. His dad asked us to meet him at a nearby cafe the next day. But when I asked my mother-in-law if she was available, she interrupted me and said she was busy. Then she went into her room. So my husband and I went to the cafe to talk to him.
Long time no see. How are you? Sorry I haven't been home in a while. I'm just really busy with work. But she's feeling much better now thanks to you two.
What?
She keeps the house really clean these days.
Wait, what? We didn't know what to say to him. So we told him everything. We told him that it was all us, and that we were done with helping her.
And we've been paying for everything. What? I gave her money for groceries. She never paid you back?
She never gave us a dime. So we decided to go talk to her. When we got there, we found this pair of shoes at the entrance. We heard moaning from the bedroom. My husband and his father walked in and caught her red-handed. She was having an affair! She was using the money her husband was giving her for groceries. She even took money out of their mutual bank account. Her husband thought about leaving her. But since she had no family or relatives, he decided to give her another chance. But he sued the boyfriend for damages. Why did she have an affair to begin with? Her husband is a lawyer. That's why he was always so busy. After the incident, my mother-in-law stopped harassing us. She knew she was on thin ice. My father-in-law called and told me we had nothing to worry about anymore. He was planning to retire when he turned 60.
This is partially my fault. I was always too busy with work, and after I retire, I'm gonna try to spend more time with her.
He said. That's nice of him. She's lucky to have a husband like him. Anyways, I'm just glad everything worked out. I'm Izumi. I'm in my 40s and I got 2 kids. The other day I got a call from my parents. They were getting old and we had to figure out what to do with them. So they called a family meeting. Gotta see my brother. Lame. I had an older brother and we weren't on good terms. Growing up, he was always harassing me. He was always such a jerk to me. I hated him. I asked my parents to help me many times, but they never believed me. They always sided with him. But other than that, they were pretty good to me. Still, I hated my brother, and I hated the fact that he got away with it. This one time, one of my uncles saw my brother doing mean things to me. He told him to stop, but it was no use. I just wanted to get away from him. I was hoping he'd move out when he started college, but his school was nearby, so that didn't work. And even after he graduated and got a job, he kept living with his parents. As for me, I moved out of the house right after high school. My grandparents helped me out a bit financially. Never want to go back. I went to see my grandparents from time to time, but I rarely went to my parents' house. My parents and my brother always bugged me about it, but I ignored them. After college, I got a job in the city, far away from home. Then, for a couple of years, they stopped bothering me. Heard my brother got a girlfriend or something. That's probably why. Thank goodness. Then, a few years later, he told me to come over to the house. He said he was getting married. So I went to see him, but then...
Don't come to the wedding day! You hear me?
What? What was his problem?
I don't want you ruining my wedding. You better not show up.
What's your problem? You could have just told me this over the phone.
Stop talking! You make me sick! Masaki, settle down! She's your sister!
Said my dad, but it was no use.
I don't want people to find out that I'm related to you, okay? You're crazy! And listen, I'm gonna live here with my wife from now on. The house is mine. So can you waive your inheritance? I don't want to deal with you anymore.
Is mom and dad okay with this? A few years ago, Both my parents inherited a large sum of money from their parents. I didn't really care about the money, but I was worried. See, both of my parents were sick at the time. Someone had to take care of them eventually. But my brother, I don't think he realized that. I don't really care about the inheritance, but what about mom and dad? Who's gonna take care of them when they get older and their illness gets worse? You think about that? To which he said,
They'll be fine. You worry too much. I'm sure I'll figure something out.
he said with a big smirk on his face. But what about your wife? Is she okay with this? She might be the one who has to look after them.
Listen, this is none of your business, okay? I'm their oldest son. I'll figure something out. Stay out of it. We don't need you, okay?
If you say so, fine. And my parents didn't say anything. Fine then, but I want it in writing.
No problem. But after this, you're out of here. Don't come crawling back to me begging me for money.
Fine by me. I know. Let's get this all on tape. How does that sound? He agreed. My brother agreed to take care of my parents. In return, I agreed to waive all my inheritance. We got it all on tape. Then we put it in writing. The deal was done. I stopped talking to my brother after that. Needless to say, I never went to his wedding. A few years later, I got married. But I never told him or my parents. My husband didn't have any family, so we had a small wedding with our friends. But then a few months later, Mom called, asking me if I got married. She probably saw my family register or something. Why didn't you tell me? I didn't want my brother to find out. Sorry. Why are you two like this? I told you already. You're so stubborn. Look, your dad and I are getting old. Maybe you should come back and... We made a deal, remember? That's his problem, not mine. Leave me out of this. But, I mean, you're my daughter and... Huh? What was she talking about? Just stop fighting with your brother, okay? You come over to the house soon. We could really use your help. What? He said he'll figure everything out. That was a deal. But he's busy. And so is his wife. Come on. I'm busy too. I work too, you know. She was there when we made the deal. So I told her to give me some of her inheritance money if she wanted my help. But then... I don't know. Your brother. He's been really good to us, you know? Deep down, he's a nice person, so... We want to leave everything with him. How selfish are you? And his wife. I don't want to trouble her. Wait, I don't even know his wife. I never went to the wedding, remember? Oh, right. Wait, I know. You could pretend to be a helper. She doesn't have to know that you're her daughter. What on earth was she talking about? She was starting to piss me off. Look, the deal is done. Leave me out of it. If you need to hire people, just use the money you got from your parents. But I don't want to. I want to leave it for your brother. You get that. She was still talking, but I just hung up on her. It was a waste of time. Then, many years later, Dad called me. I was in my 40s now.
Mom isn't feeling so well. She just stays in bed all day long. We really need your help.
Dad sounded really upset. He was never like this, so I kind of got worried. After much thought, I decided to pay them a visit. I didn't recognize the house at first. Looks like they renovated the whole place. When I rang the doorbell, this woman answered the door. Probably my brother's wife. Place looks pretty nice. Then the woman said to me,
My husband sent you a lot of money over the years. This is the least you can do.
I see. So that's what they've been telling her. I realized this was a waste of time, so I said to her, I don't know what they told you, but he never gave me a dime, and I've waived my inheritance, so we're done here. Then I left. She kept screaming behind me, but I ignored her. Screw them. They're dead to me. I was done with them. After that, my brother's wife discovered the truth. She ended up leaving my brother. My brother and his parents lost all their money in the lawsuit. My parents had to go on welfare to make ends meet. My brother lost his job, so he applied for welfare too. But he got rejected. Whatever, not my problem. He called me once, begging me to help him out, but I told him to screw off. Felt pretty good. Anyway, I'm just glad it's all over now. Time to move on with my life.
I'm Tomoe Sakuguchi. I recently got married to my husband, Sho. I loved him very much. But recently we started fighting.
I want shiitake rice!
Not this again. I always cooked for him. He always told me that I was a good chef. But then one day...
Hey, can you make me some shiitake rice?
he said to me. What's that? Like mixed rice? I asked him, but he said no. He looked kind of pissed.
I mean, it looks like mixed rice, but it's not the same thing. My mom makes the best shiitake rice ever. You should learn to make it too.
I like to cook, so I looked it up. I tried to make it a couple of times, but...
This isn't it. You just don't get it.
I asked my mom for some advice, but nothing. I was so confused. I asked my husband to be more specific, but all he said was, "This isn't it." We were constantly fighting over shiitake rice. What's this problem? I'm so confused. Here are some of the clues he gave me. The rice is light yellow. Soup. Tastes mild compared to regular white rice. The shiitake is really chewy. And he said it was bitter. Huh. Then, a few weeks later...
She can't even cook for me. Maybe I shouldn't have married her.
Seriously? Then he said to me...
I met this girl at work. She said she knows how to cook shiitake rice. I want a divorce.
Wow.
What? You were cheating on me?
It's your fault! None of this would have happened if you knew how to make shiitake rice!
There is just no talking to him. Fine then. Divorce it is.
This is your fault, so I'm not paying for damages.
Fine by me. But just one thing. I didn't care about him anymore, but... The shiitake rice you keep talking about, can I try it? Can you ask your mom to make it for me? I asked him as I was signing the divorce papers. He said yes, took out his phone and called his mom.
She told us to meet her at her house.
So we drove there. When we got there, the table was already set. Took a look at the shiitake rice. It was a bit yellow, just like he said.
Yummy! This is so good, Mom!
My ex-husband finished his bowl in no time and asked for seconds. He told me to try it, but something didn't feel right. Is this shiitake? What is this dish called? Is this shiitake rice? I asked his mother. My ex-husband looked at her too. He was already on his third bowl. Then she said to me,
Shiitake? What's that?
This isn't shiitake rice? What is it then? Wait, is this woodier mushroom?
What are you talking about? This is just regular rice.
What?
May I look at your rice bin? She took me to the pantry. There's a big brown bag filled with rice. I could hear something rustling on the insides. I knew it. Those black things in the rice? Those are bugs.
What? No way!
What? Bugs?
Yes. See, look here. My ex-husband's face turned pale. His mom was furious.
How dare you! We get our rice from a friend! There's no bug in here. And rice doesn't go bad, it's dry. Stop making things up.
Well, if you keep it under a certain temperature, yes, but... So, I opened another bag. It was a mess. My ex-husband ran out of the pantry, terrified. His mother still couldn't see it. So I grabbed a cup and put it in front of her. See this? When it's small, its body is white. So it's hard to tell, but when it gets bigger, the body turns black. See? She was shocked. My ex-husband started flipping out. I got in my car and drove back to the house, packed up my things and went to my parents' house. I thought my parents would be upset, but they seemed fine. They welcomed me with open arms. You're not gonna even ask me why I got a divorce? Let me guess. It has something to do with shiitake rice, right? And your father, he actually works with your ex-husband. He's his boss, and apparently he was always talking about how terrible you were at cooking. My father was pissed. Anyways, the next day I stopped by the city office and submitted the divorce papers before heading out to work. That didn't last long, but oh well, it's for the best. I feel much better now. Time to move on. But then a few days later, my ex-husband showed up at my office.
I get it now. I was wrong about the shiitake rice. And that girl I was telling you about, the one that knows how to make shiitake rice? Well, I went to her house and it's a mess. There are bugs everywhere, and shiitake rice is all she can make. Help me, please.
Why are you telling me this? I don't care.
But I don't want to eat bugs. Please, we got in a huge fight and also she's pregnant. What am I supposed to do?
Again, this isn't my problem. Get lost. Then I turned around, grabbed a cab, and got out of there. I never saw him after that. My dad told me he ended up marrying that girl he met at work. Apparently his mother took a liking to her. But according to rumors, this woman never showered. Not sure if it was true or not, but things kind of got awkward for him at the office. A few months later, he quit.
And he was always eating that dirty rice for lunch.
Sucks to be him. I mean, these bugs were harmless and they were a good source of protein, so whatever. I'm just glad he's out of my life.
What the? Where's my wedding dress? I'm Mommy. I married my husband Koichi a few months ago. He was always away on business, so we were planning to have the wedding once things settled down a bit. I worked during the day, but in my free time, I started making my own wedding dress. I also like to sew, so it was a lot of fun. The big day was coming up. My dress was almost finished. But then, one day when I came home from work, it was gone. What the? Did we get robbed? I looked around the house to see if anything else was missing. Then, my husband came back from the store. Today was his day off. I asked him if he knew anything about the dress. Then he said,
"Oh, the dress? My sister wanted to use it, so I let her borrow it. Her wedding is coming up, and she said she'll give it back to you."
"What? Hold up. You never told me that. And you can't just give her my stuff like that."
What? Relax. She's only gonna wear it once. No worries.
We're not talking about a t-shirt here. What's wrong with you? Her sister name was Mari. She was 10 years older than him. I had no idea she was getting married. And the thing is, she was much bigger than me. I'm 5 foot. Your sister is 5'7". It'll never fit. I said to my husband, but then he said,
Oh, that. No worries. She said she'll figure something out. And she said she liked the design, so...
That's not my point. It won't fit her.
It's fine. She said she'll make some adjustments if necessary.
What? She can't do that. That's my dress. There was just no talking to him. I decided to go talk to her myself. I headed for the door.
Hold up! Her fiancé's at the house today! Leave her alone!
Why does he care so much about his sister? What about me? Whatever. I told him to back off and walked out the door. He was still saying something, but I ignored him. A few hours later, I arrived at his parents' house. The door was open. I thought they might lock me out if I rang the doorbell, so I walked in quietly. There were a bunch of shoes in the entrance hall. Looks like our fiancé and his family was here. Doesn't matter. She stole my dress. I'm taking it back. I heard people talking in the living room, so I headed over. I heard a man's voice saying, "What a beautiful dress." Probably her fiancé. Then I heard my sister-in-law saying, "Yeah, I made it myself. I love to sew. I'm gonna make all kinds of stuff for our kids."
You're amazing! You'll make a really good housewife! Yeah, you can count on her.
That sounded like Koichi's father. But she's lying! She never does anything around the house. Her mom does everything for her. I never had a problem with my mother-in-law, but my sister-in-law and her father didn't like me very much. From what I heard, they weren't happy that her younger brother got married before her. I couldn't take it anymore. I slammed the door open. Sorry to interrupt. They all looked at me. I grabbed the dress from my sister-in-law. This is mine! Give it back! I checked the dress to see if it was okay. Ah! What have you done? She made some adjustments around the back, but she couldn't sew, so I think it was her mother. Wait, you were in on this too? What's wrong with you? I thought my mother-in-law was better than this. I was really upset. Then the fiancé asked me,
Excuse me, but what's going on here?
Sorry, I'm her brother's wife. I made this dress myself, but it was gone when I came home from work today. So I told him what happened. The fiancé and his family just sat there in silence. They looked upset. What's your problem, huh?
Yeah, you're ruining everything!
My sister-in-law and her father started yelling at me. They tried to grab the dress out of my hands. Then, the dress ripped in half. Ah! I didn't even know what to say anymore, but then, it took me so long to make this. Oh well, I'll just rent one, I guess.
Oh, honey, I'm so sorry.
Are they being serious right now? Mommy, I'm sorry. They forced me to help them. I had no choice. What do you mean? Then my mother-in-law started talking. Turns out she was helping her daughter with all kinds of things, trying to make a good impression for her fiancé. She told her fiancé she could cook and clean, but it was all a lie.
I had a feeling.
And my father-in-law was the one behind it all. He was always a bossy type, and he really wanted to find a husband for her daughter. So he made his wife do all kinds of things to help her out. And when my mother-in-law told her that she couldn't make a wedding dress, she decided to steal mine. I kind of felt bad for my mother-in-law. She didn't want any part of this, but her husband basically forced her to help them. But she was done. She couldn't take it anymore, so she decided to come clean and told us everything.
I kinda had a feeling. I've always wondered how you cooked with nails like those.
Her fiancé and his family were on my side, thank goodness. But then, my husband showed up. He then walked up to me and slapped me. I went flying across the room. What the?
What's wrong with you? Why are you ruining my sister's big day?
What? She's the one that stole my dress! The dress I was planning to wear at her wedding! Then he said something unbelievable.
Look, when my sister told me she was getting married, I canceled our wedding and gave her our spot.
What?
What's the big deal? We already handed in the marriage papers, so who cares?
Then he told me he gave her most of the money we had saved up for our wedding. I used the money for beauty salons and stuff. Pretty, right?
Looking good, sis.
At this point, I had lost all feelings for my husband. Well then, I've heard enough. I want a divorce.
Don't push it! You're his wife. Our family comes first. You're not getting a divorce, not on my watch.
His father yelled at me, but then the fiancé's father said,
By that logic, if your daughter marries my son, our family comes first. What? No, that's different.
The fiancé and his family was done with them. They stood up and told them that the marriage was off. What? But we were engaged! This can't be legal! I'm gonna sue you! They all started flipping out, but then...
You want to go to trial? Fine by me. I got everything on tape, so...
The fiancé pulled out a voice recorder from his pocket. Then he turned to us and said,
This might come in handy for you both. I'll make you a copy. Follow me to my office.
So we did. Turns out he was a lawyer. My face was still bruised, so he told me to go see a doctor right away to get a doctor's note, saying it would come in handy in my divorce trial, so I did. A few months later, I got a divorce. My ex-husband's mother left her husband too. We became kind of close after that. My parents were both gone, so she was the only family I had left. After the divorce, she moved in with me. She was always really good to me, so I decided to take care of her. Koichi paid me in full for damages. His mother also got a big cash settlement in her divorce. If you ever need to put me in an elderly home, just use this money, okay? It was a lot of money, but she put it in her savings account for a rainy day. Koichi moved back in with his father and sister. With his mother gone, the house was a mess. A few months later, Koichi and his father lost his job for being unsanitary. His sister became a shut-in. What happened to my dress was unfortunate, but those people were out of my life now, so it's time to move on.
Thanks for watching! Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. Bye!